You're watching Sports Central on CBS 2, sponsored by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Sports Central Saturday. I'm joined once again by Dorsey High School head football coach Stafon Johnson and LA Daily News writer Tarek Fattal. And you just saw it right here. It was like Alabama's going for style points, 49-27 over Auburn.
Yeah, they needed these type of games right here to kind of get their momentum back going on their side. And after coming off a few hard losses and try to go in and get a W in the Iron Bowl was terrific.
I think Bryce Young might have been upset about Mater Day's loss last night. Took it out here on Auburn, like, all right, coach, I got you. I mean, 4 touchdowns today, and quite the performance for the Heisman Trophy winner last year.
And, of course, there's a lot of anticipation about the Heisman Trophy this year.
Yeah, we all think here in L.A. it's going to be Caleb Williams. A couple more games to prove that. He certainly earned a spot at that ceremony, but Bryce Young, spectacular player.
Like we said, you just saw it right here, the Iron Bowl, Alabama taking care of Auburn by a score of 49-27. All right, everybody, what do you say we get to one of the other big games of the day? There is always plenty on the line when Michigan and Ohio State meet. But even more so today in Columbus, the #2 Buckeyes and 3rd-ranked Wolverines playing for a spot in the Big Ten championship with a ton of college football playoff implications as well. And here we go. It is the first time that both teams are ranked in the top 5 and undefeated since 2006. We go to the second quarter. Michigan trailed 13-10. J.J. McCarthy steps up into the pocket and finds Cornelius Johnson for the 75-yard score. The Wolverines take the first lead of the game at 17-13. Now, the Buckeyes had an answer on their next drive. C.J. Stroud connects with Marvin Harrison Jr. for the 42-yard touchdown. Ohio State regains the lead at 20-17. Stafon?
Like father, like son right there, man. That's a beautiful pass and catch by Stroud and young Harrison Jr. right there. He had a heck of a game today.
Keep it all in the family. Meanwhile, the Wolverines stayed on the attack in the third quarter. McCarthy uses the play action and finds Colston Loveland wide open, and he dives in for the 45-yard touchdown. Michigan takes the lead now at 24-20. And the Wolverines never looked back, up 31-23 in the fourth quarter. Donovan Edwards takes the handoff, and he's off to the races as he heads down the sidelines, 75 yards for the touchdown. Michigan extends their lead to 38-23. And Ohio State looked to respond on their ensuing drive on 3rd and 10. Stroud steps up into the pocket, and his toss gets intercepted by Taylor Upshaw. The Wolverines force Stroud to throw 2 interceptions for the first time this season. And Michigan capitalized on the turnover. Watch what happened on 3rd and 3. Edwards finds a gap, and he gets through it. He takes off 85 yards for the touchdown. He finished with a career-high 216 yards rushing. Meanwhile, the Wolverines snap a 9-game losing streak at Ohio State, winning by a score of 45-23.
They were trying to stop our identity. We're a smash fest football team, and they were trying to stop the run, so they let the passes get open deep. There's some things that I want back, but walking out of here with the W, that's all that matters, no matter how we got it done.
It's big, big-time rivalry game, we knew what we had to do this game, but we prepared for this game all season in the off season. So to get the victory, it's a blessing from the Lord.
And Michigan with a huge win behind a ton of big plays to find the Wolverines had 4 touchdowns, 69 yards or longer. That's incredible.
Yeah, Harbaugh did a wonderful job of changing up personnel, bringing in the 12 and 13 personnel, allowing the the receivers, and the tight ends to win on the outside one-on-one matchups, and they exposed it. And then once they was able to try to get into a cover 2 package, here comes the running game. People like Donovan Edwards had 200 yards a game. Cornelius had 4 catches for 160 yards. They had a field day in the shoe, man. They wasn't ready for it.
And to hit with that grind it out. Let's go for the big plays right away, and that's what they were doing.
Yes, I think last year kind of set the tone too. They beat them up last year on the ground, and this year it allowed the play action pass to get a hold and get going. And then once they try to figure out and try to make adjustments with that, here comes the run again. So they did a wonderful job of going back and forth with having a mixed, balanced attack.
Was it a good thing for the Trojans to blow out?
Well, I just think, you think about this.
He says yes.
Well, it's just, like it wasn't enough, right? You always want to. There's always a little gamesmanship in a rivalry game. You want to stick it to the rival, and you know what? You put on a couple extra points, and you wave them goodbye. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's really kind of amazing, and I know that everybody's kind of anxious to see what's going to happen. But in time, everything will work out the way it's going to work out.
It sets up perfectly for us, especially with a win tonight. It definitely will set us in the right direction, especially when Ohio State went down, and their claim to fame in the sense is knowing that they beat a ranked Notre Dame team earlier in the year. So it's definitely set up for us to have a big weekend.
When he says us, of course, he's talking about USC and the Trojans. You better believe it. And speaking of USC, came into the weekend 6th in the college football playoff rankings, but the Trojans have a couple more games to build their case for a spot in the Final Four. They've already clinched a spot in next week's Pac-12 championship game after beating UCLA last week. But a win tonight over 15th-ranked Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish would boost their resume more. And head coach Lincoln Riley feels his team is energized with every game carrying so much weight.
I think you have to embrace it, enjoy being in this moment, enjoy competing at this level. And I mean, our team gets excited to play teams like this. I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, it's fun playing really good competition in cool venues with a lot of things on the line. That is so much fun. And so embrace it. Let's make sure that we keep getting better.
Yeah, embrace it, everybody. The Trojans still sit behind a 2-loss LSU team in the rankings for now, with College Football Playoff Committee Chairman Boog Corrigan saying the committee, quote, wanted to see a little more from their defense, end of quote. USC defensive coordinator Alex Grinch knows the Trojans can be better on that side of the ball.
From a criticism standpoint, Saturdays that's your resume. And from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, there's no dodging it. We're very honest in that, and understand that the chief goal each week is to find a way to beat the opponent by 1. Now, after that is to play at a high level defensively, and if they score 1, you got to have some level of frustration about you.
All right, Stafon, we know that USC has had their troubles on defense. What do they need to do here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, it's going to be pretty rough, especially this week. You have to give credit to Notre Dame. Early on, Coach Freeman, I was able to play against him early on when I was in college, and they started to take the identity of who he is. Very physical, very downhill, passionate type of football team. It's starting to work, taking this on and being able to, we have to be able to stop this type of offenses in order for us to move forward into, the playoffs and the biggest game moving forward.
And when you play great defense, you have to have that nasty attitude.
Yeah, I was at that SC UCLA game, and there just wasn't any confidence that the Trojans could stop UCLA. And UCLA is a good team, but there's certainly better teams in the playoff, right? Mm-hmm. So, Stafon said it, before we started the show, it's like, is Caleb Williams just going to have to get out there and score 18 touchdowns? You hope that's not the case. You got to get stopped. So huge question mark for the Trojans, and I like that little, the College Football Playoff Committee guy saying, well, we need to see a little more from the defense. Yeah, I think everyone does.
You better believe it. That is for sure. Now, of course, the Trojans are 10-1 for a reason. Caleb Williams is playing at a Heisman Trophy winning level. And we all know and think, he should get it. But, this is a very difficult accomplishment to make.
I think it goes beyond the Heisman side of it. I think it's going to just show who he really is now. We keep talking about, the defensive woes that we do have, but let's talk about the different playmakers that he's able to accomplish. 500-plus yards last week, being able to get things done on his feet, being able to construct, positive plays and drives, drive in and drive out, and to come away with W. So, of course, we do have these woes on the defensive side, but it gets to show him who he can really be and how he is very instrumental in the Heisman watch, because he's able to do certain things when we know we have troubles on the defensive end.
And he has a very, very high football IQ.
Yes, he does. Yes. And I would say Caleb Williams, from just listening to the press conferences this year, he wants a national championship more than he wants the Heisman, and there's a prerequisite for that. If he can win these next 2 games and get to the college football playoff, the Heisman will take care of itself. Mm-hmm. The one's going to happen before the other, and so as long as he keeps playing the way he is, he's going to win it.
And as far as the Trojans are concerned, they have the perfect coach for this particular situation. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, they're very cool, calm, and collected. I remember last week they was mentioning about the game from UCLA, how they was going to take it one game at a time and just use this game as not to get too high, not to get too low, but just make sure you just play the game as it is. And he said that because you're coming in this week, you have a bigger game. You know what I mean? It's another team that's more physical, and they have the same type of tradition, the same type of rivalry that we had last week. So each week is going to be definitely a test, and who else to be better than, the combination between coach and quarterback quarterback than Caleb and Coach.
Think it's going to be rocking and rolling at the Coliseum this evening?
Man, it's going to be loud. Like, come on, man, Charger fans, we need this one, baby. You cannot let go to shame.
Okay, calm down. Act like he's getting ready to go play. And, of course, all the highlights tonight at 11 o'clock right here on CBS 2. All right, everybody, time now for our first commercial break. When we come back here on CBS 2, who will Team USA face in the Pac-12 championship game? If Oregon beat their rival, they've punched their ticket. We'll go in depth on that when we come back. Also, USC may still need to have some help to crack the top 4 and advance to the college football playoffs. Georgia and TCU stand in their way. We're going to check in on how they fared today. And it was a clash of titans at the Rose Bowl last night when St. John Bosco defeated Mater Dei for the Southern Section Division I championship. That and more when we come back right here on CBS 2.
Sports Central is sponsored by Morongo Casino.
And welcome back. 8th-ranked Clemson still has playoff hopes, taking on South Carolina today. We jump to the third. Clemson with a 30-21 lead. Spencer Rattler fires down a cannon and finds Antoine Wells Jr. for the 72-yard touchdown. 9 touches on 131 yards with a pair of touchdowns on the day for Wells. The Gamecocks trail by 2. South Carolina tacks on a field goal. Clemson now trailing 31-10. Uiagalelei's pass right here is intercepted. The former St. John Bosco quarterback completed only 8 of his 29 attempts today. Same score now, under 3 minutes to play, and Clemson looks to make a really big final play, but Antonio Williams fumbles the punt return. South Carolina takes down Clemson by a score of 31-30. And we already know who USC will play for the Pac-12 championship this coming Friday in Las Vegas, but they enter the day with three different opponents. Possibly Oregon would clinch a spot with a win over rival Oregon State. But a Beavers upset, well, would open the door for Washington or Utah. How about that combination, right? To the 126th edition of the rivalry, Oregon has won 12 of the past 14 games against Oregon State. We head to the third quarter. The Ducks are up 21-10. Noah Whittington takes the handoff to score the 5-yard touchdown. Oregon extends their lead to 28-10. But the Beavers flip the script in the fourth quarter. Alex Bales right here can't handle the snap for the punt. Oregon State takes over in Oregon's territory. And the Beavers capitalize on the turnover. On 2nd and goal, Ben Goldbraston scores the 1-yard touchdown. Oregon State is down now 34-31. The Ducks just couldn't slow down the Beavers. Down in the fourth quarter on the Beavers' next possession, Isaiah Newell scores the go-ahead touchdown. Oregon State takes the lead at 38-34. Now, Oregon looked to respond on their next drive. On 4th and goal, Bo Nix's pass falls incomplete in the end zone. What a comeback here, Stafon.
Oh, yeah, that was the one right there, and I think that it showed how it is playing in Corvallis.
Look at the expression on that guy's face. Oregon State completes the comeback, winning it 38-34.
Special. Couldn't be more proud of this group. You know, playing for 4 quarters. We didn't play our best football for a while there. They kept believing and going, making some plays. This unbelievable crowd made a difference. Special day.
So when you think about it, USC could still face Oregon, Washington, or Utah, depending on how the rest of the night goes in the Pac-12. Stafon, what do you think is going to happen? What will be the best matchup for the Trojans?
I think that Oregon, coming off of a loss today, is definitely going to be, on fire. They're going to be ready to go. They're coming next week. So either one of those teams, I know. It just goes to show you that long as the Pac-12 championship is not in Oregon State, I think we have a pretty good chance for either one of those teams. Playing in Corvallis is very, very difficult, as you can see, and Oregon was not able to accomplish no win today.
And it's really good to have these kinds of questions and question marks surrounding college football at this time of the year.
Yeah, parity. Yeah. Anybody can beat anybody. Oregon was up big. Oregon State comes back now. One team has to win over here for this team to advance. It makes things exciting. It's good for the conference, and I think the Trojans are going to lick their chops knowing their seat is nice and warm in the Pac-12 championship. Who they're going to play, we're going to find out.
And when we find out, we'll let you know right here on CBS 2. All right, everybody, let's talk about some other things. And while the debate continues around college football playoffs, there is one thing most everyone seems to agree with, and that is Georgia is the top team in all of the country. The #1 ranked Bulldogs are gearing up for next week's SEC championship, hosting Georgia Tech. Georgia coming in as a 5-touchdown favorite, 5 touchdowns over the Yellow Jackets. Georgia trailing 7-3 in the second quarter. Stetson Bennett comes up and connects with Marcus Rosemary St. Jack Saint right there for the touchdown. Georgia takes a 10-7 lead. Now the Bulldogs never look back to the third quarter. Bennett into the end zone. Brock Bowers dives for the catch. Touchdown, Dogs, 20-7. And what a snag there. That's absolutely incredible. We go to the fourth quarter now. Bennett really hands it off to Kendall Milton, and he runs it right up the middle, 44 yards to the house. They will cap this one off, and that's really good for the Dogs there. Stafon?
Oh yeah, a little patience right there, a little explosion when you go through the hole. That's how you're supposed to run the ball. You got some young guys in there to get some paint on their shoes.
You better believe it. And Georgia, the Bulldogs win their 5th consecutive meeting against Georgia Tech with a 37-14 score to move to 12-0. Meanwhile, number 4 TCU looking to stay unbeaten at home against Iowa State. There was no score in the first quarter on 4th and 2. Max Dugan right here uses the play action to find Gregorius Espivia for the 19-yard touchdown. TCU goes up 7-0. And the Horned Frogs really stayed on the attack. Kendra Miller takes it in from 25 yards into the end zone. That's his 13th consecutive game with a rushing score. Tarek, he's just incredible.
Yeah, the Horned Frogs, they know what they're doing. TCU bound for the college football playoff. Pretty impressive.
TCU dominated on both sides of the ball, up 17-0 in the first quarter. Hunter Dickus. His pass is picked off by Millard Bradford, and he takes it all the way for the 36-yard pick six. The Horned Frogs cruise on to a 62-14 victory. 62-14 victory. That is absolutely incredible. TCU has only the Big 12 championship to go. If they win, then they'll get into the playoffs. And I know you kind of like that, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I like that. I mean, TCU have a great year this year. You know, they've been showing how they were able to dominate on both sides of the football, and they've been having a pretty good year. You know, I think that they have a pretty good shoe-in as far as the championship is concerned. So to stay healthy and keep playing the football that they've been playing, and they have a pretty good shot in the playoffs for sure.
And Tarek, you know, Georgia's next test comes against LSU in the SEC championship game on Saturday, and I know you will talk to Stafon about this. He's got to be a big Bulldogs fan right about now.
Oh, yeah, man, the Bulldogs is probably, like I said, be from the top of the season. Like they always been my number one with the combination between the pass and run that they have, and their defensive front seven is just amazing. As you can see right here, they all over the place, and to have the ability to create turnovers and make big plays with the best tight end in the country, so to say, it's be a beautiful thing.
You know, Tarek, this is one of the more well-rounded teams in the country as well.
Yeah.
I think for so many years we've been thinking Alabama's always the team to beat. You know, Georgia's kind of the new Alabama. They're the top dog. They're the team no one wants to play. Mm-hmm. That's why Stafon likes TCU in the playoff, because Stefon's thinking, well, you know, I like USC's chances against TCU. I don't think any SC fans want to play Georgia. I mean, that's just the truth. You know, in the final, fine, but in that first game, no thanks. And so Georgia's the team right now.
Okay, let's talk some more football right now, because from the race for the college football playoffs to a culmination of the Southern Section Division I playoffs last night at the Rose Bowl. Mater Dei and John Bosco meeting in a battle of the top two teams in high school football. It was incredible, and it was the Braves of St. John Bosco that came away with the championship with 3:08 left in the fourth quarter. Mater Dei scored on a Jordan Davidson 1-yard touchdown run to make it a 2-point game at 24-22, but he was stuffed on the ensuing 2-point conversion, and St. John Bosco was able to run out the clock. After that, the loss ends Mater Dei head coach's Bruce Rollinson's career. He will retire, get this, after 34 years as head coach, and it's the 4th title for Bosco head coach Jason Negro.
We worked on this since January to put ourselves in a position to be physical enough to win a ball game late, and that's what we were able to do.
I left it all on the field. I gave everything I could give to this great high school, 47 years, and you know, it would have been, you know, the better ending for my book, but, you know, it's life.
Oh, yeah, that book's going to be a bestseller, that's for sure. You can believe that, Tarek. We'll get to Rollinson in just a couple of moments, but what about a win for St. John Bosco?
Look, there was redemption on their mind. Earlier in the year, Mater Dei got the best of St. John Bosco, and I think when Rollinson announced he was going to retire, everyone thought, okay, no way the Monarchs are going to let their coach go out with a loss. And then St. John Bosco said, oh, no. It's motivating us to make sure he does go out with a loss. And credit to Jason Negro, a very good high school football coach.
And it is really the end of an era at Mater Dei with Rollinson retiring, because he has given so much, not only to the game on the field, but to the game in the classroom as well for his student athletes.
Yeah, he definitely had a long run. I think we're here 34 years. I'm 34 years old, so just imagine the things that he's done throughout his career, the different people that's came out of Modern Day's program. He's definitely had something to hang his hat on, and the loss to last night doesn't determine exactly who he is or what he's about. He has a lot of wins in his career, so that that loss right there just shows the integrity that he has of his program.
And we know you have great respect and admiration for him.
Oh, Coach is. I will say this: there's a credit to Coach Rowlandson. Being a head coach for 34 years, the game changes, Jim.
Yeah.
And for a coach that's been around a long time to think, okay, I got to change the way I approach. I got to change the way I coach sometimes and do things. And for him to do that and continue to win says a lot about him. And what a great historic career. 47 years at the school, 34 as a head coach.
Absolutely.
I'm
Coach.
here too, so I know how.
We salute you, Coach. We salute you. All right, everybody, stay right where you are. Still to come. After winning their first Southern Section championship in more than 30 years, Whittier Christensen is going to join us live on the set. We'll have that for you. He is now in big trouble to make it out of the group stage. And what do you say we go? France beats Denmark 2-1 and become the first team to clinch a berth in the knockout stage. That's absolutely incredible, my friends. Meanwhile, Australia looking to bounce back against Tunisia, and they came out first ready to go. Craig Goodwin is in on the attack right here, out wide. Look at this. He crosses it into Mitchell Duke, who reads the deflection and finished to get their first World Cup victory in some 12 years. Just absolutely wonderful, wonderful soccer. And Tarek, Mexico is in trouble after a 2-0 loss to Argentina. They need to come back in a hurry.
Mexico was like a perfect storm. Argentina had been upset and scoreless today. A great result for Argentina.
Now, as for Team USA, they face Iran on Tuesday.
Draw will not do it. They have to win. 1-0 is fine. And you have to score to win. If the score is 0-0 at the end, it's a draw, Jim, right? So the U.S. need to be aggressive, and it's going to be a pressure game. And for a young team, we're going to see how they respond. When they drew 0-0 with England, that was a great result for this young team. Now they got to go out and get a good result. They got to win.
And because they are young, sometimes not knowing what's out there can be a big plus for you.
So that's wishful thinking. At the World Cup, it might not always turn out that way. Being a little naive, yeah, sure, that can help you. But Iran is a team that has some experience, have some guys that played in the World Cup before that play high-level soccer. So it's going to be a tough match for the U.S., but I think they're capable.
And whatever happens, we're going to have it for you right here on CBS 2. All right, everybody, time now for another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to check in on the Chargers as they get set for a Week 12 showdown with the Cardinals in the desert. We'll have that for you. And the champions are in the house. We will catch up with Whittier Crenshaw, fresh off their Division 14 championship, when Sports Central returns right here on CBS 2.
All right, here we go. All right, guys, one more. We've been at it for hours. Hey, Bob. Stace.
Get seriously hydrated. Take action.
Hey, what are you doing? Get ready. Caleb's super hydrated today. Woo!
In Pescato here in Morongo, we love to serve Chardonnay with our seafood tower. You got no wine in your glass. Oh my God. Join me. Welcome, guys. 7-inch wine. Don't miss this time.
Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, home to Fabio Viviano's Marketplace. And good times.
When a truck hit my car, the insurance company wasn't fair. I didn't know what my case was worth, so I called the Barnes firm.
I'm Rich Barnes. It's hard for people to know how much their accident case is worth. Let our injury attorneys help you get the best result possible.
More truck owners are switching to Ram, which means more people who like more of everything are switching to Ram. Like more power, more technology, and more luxury. Hurry into the Ram Black Friday sales event and get no payments for 90 days.
Get 0% financing plus $6,250 total bonus cash on select 2022 Ram 1500 models and dealer stock. Or well-qualified lessees can lease Ram 1500 for $399 a month.
My coffee smells good.
We changed things up a bit.
Now enjoy a hearty deluxe breakfast platter and pair it with a freshly brewed premium roast coffee.
Charged Up, sponsored by Action Ion Charged Alkaline Water.
Welcome back, everybody. Whittier Christian is the CIF Southern Section Division 14 champions, beating Linwood last night 20-7 to claim their first championship since 1990. The Herald's defense was just dominant throughout the game, with Caleb Murray and Jake Martinez both scoring second-half touchdowns to pull away for the victory. And joining us in our studio today, our head coach, Frank Manriquez, and of course running back Jake Martinez and quarterback Caleb Murray. Congratulations to you all, Jim. But Coach, first of all, let's just talk to you a little bit about what last night's victory meant to you in your first year there.
Yeah, I mean, it meant everything. We've started since the beginning of the season to have a goal in mind to win a championship, and prepared the kids since May, and now we're seeing that all that hard work pay off. So I was really proud of the kids.
And there's a trust factor that has developed between you and your team in just the first year.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that comes from, them, as a coach, you have to, the kids see right through you if you're not prepared and you don't know what you're doing, and the kids bought in from the very, very beginning, and it's been a great ride.
And Caleb, you had a lot of big plays that really contributed to this particular victory.
Yeah, I think utilizing my legs a lot more than I have in the past few games, and running the ball to get those essential first downs really helped our team. It's a big part.
You just did it all. Over 100 yards rushing, doing all these wonderful things. I know you're a little tired today, aren't you?
A little bit. I'm a little tired.
But let's just talk just a little bit about what you have accomplished, because there were some doubters that were out there, and now they're all saying, oh, look at what they did.
Yeah, for sure. We've been working so hard from spring, summer, in the regular season, and it's so good to see our work finally paying off, and I'm just so proud of this team.
It was really amazing. I got to tell this story. We're sitting back in makeup, and Coach pulls out his camera and says, I have got to get a picture of this. Because there's this trust factor in the teasing that goes on between you and your team that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest elements in coaching is learning to trust. Right, that they trust me and they respect me, and it's a mutual thing.
What was the biggest thing you had to overcome in your first year there?
I think the biggest thing to overcome is just changing the culture and establishing a good hard work ethic, and how we practice, how we perform in the weight room, and how we condition, how we prepare for games. I think that was the biggest one.
And gentlemen, I'd like for you to both, because when Coach was talking about trust factor, both of you were shaking your head yes, which means you were as a matter of fact, all in on everything that he brought to you.
For sure. Just trusting his play calling, trusting what he's doing at practice, and yeah, just having that trust factor is really important for the team.
Okay, and this is what I like to call coach to coach. We're going to get to Stafon over on the set, because I know he has a question for you. Go ahead, Stafon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the hardware is in the place, so I couldn't go over there and sit down with you guys, but I'd take that any day. But no, this is for Coach. Coach, you guys were down the first half 7-6. So what are some of the things that you kind of to help the kids get motivated and get back into that culture and that mindset that they can win the football game come the second half?
Yeah, I mean, just building it from the scratch is really what we did, and just at the half, we were down 7-6, and just trying to stay poised and stay into our game plan, and just keep driving and stay to the plan, and that's what the guys did, and we were able to overcome Linwood.
You know who else knows a lot about high school football? It's Tarek.
My question's for Jake. Jake and Caleb, they're both juniors. Jake, let me ask you this: you come in, you've got another year now. You got another game. You got a SoCal regional game to play. But when you think about winning a CIF title in the coach's first year, what more do you want out of this season?
It's been really good so far. I don't know if I could even want more, but going to this next week, we need to prepare, and hopefully we can even get more on top of what we've already done.
So how difficult will it be to get ready? It's like you got to do it all over again, because you have to put what happened last time in the past and concentrate on what's ahead, because what's ahead is even more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to keep preparing how we have. I mean, I think that's how we've gotten our most success, is just preparing well for each week, and really just trusting and buying into what our coaches are putting out there for us.
And the same thing for you.
Same thing for me.
And here's the leader right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the success of the program is the preparation part. It's the film review. It's getting the kids in a position, to excel and to be successful, and not just just throwing things out there. So we really spent a lot of time in our preparation.
And trust. You trust him, and he trusts you.
For sure.
You know what that means? Another victory. And when it happens, we'll have it right here for you on CBS 2. All right, everybody, time now for another commercial break. Still to come, we're going to hear from Derwin James ahead of the Chargers game against the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow. Plus this.
For me, it was more his mental ability to never really feel like he's accomplishing what he wants to accomplish, so he's always striving to get better.
Former Dodger pitcher Randy Wolf knew Clayton Kershaw was going to be really, really great early on in his career. We'll have that and more for you when we come back right here on CBS 2.
So Josh, yesterday we were in Brampton, today we are in Toronto. Did you like coming to the big city? Because that's what this is, right? Brampton's like a suburb.
So like you said, Brampton's more suburb, so that's what I was used to. But it is lively, and that's what I do like seeing. It's just life, and I like seeing life.
What's your favorite part about being part of Canada here too?
Oh, it's big time. Especially being in the NFL. There's more Canadian talent in the NFL, but just being from the heart of Canada, I would say it means a lot to go out and represent my city and Toronto at the same time.
Oh, yeah, another in-depth episode of Chargers HQ tonight at 6:30. That was Josh Palmer back in his home in Canada with Haley Elwood in the frigid snow. Bryce Callahan is all mic'd up, and we introduce you to the Chargers Fan of the Year. That's coming up tonight at 6:30 right here on CBS 2. And speaking of the Chargers, they head to Arizona where they will take on Kyle Murray and the Cardinals tomorrow. They enter week number 12, one game back of the final playoff wildcard spot in the AFC, but have the 5th easiest remaining schedule in the league across the last 7 games of the regular season. Now, Chris Hayre caught up with Derwin James ahead of the team's flight earlier today.
All right, very pleased to be joined by Derwin James as the Chargers get set to head to the desert. And Derwin, after Thanksgiving, teams usually separate themselves as contenders. What's the message these last 7 games for you guys?
To keep going, come together, and like I said, keep playing each game hard, and let's get stops for each other as the defense and scoring points on offense.
For someone who's all over the field on defense, what's the biggest challenge in slowing a guy like Kyler Murray?
It's playing 11 on 11. Usually when his legs, you have to add that into another threat, so you always got to play him honest, and like I said, he presents a lot more with his legs.
Yeah. I'm not breaking news when I say you're the heart and soul of the Chargers. I think the heart and soul of the Cardinals is Buda Baker. From all-pro to all-pro, what do you appreciate about Buda's game?
Buda's, like you say, he plays hard. Each play he plays is like his last, and I see a lot of similarities.
Yeah. And then finally, Derwin, you guys have been really solid on the road this year. What's the main characteristic of a good NFL road team?
Being able to go in tough environments, to win the tough games when they're close, and I don't want to say we're a road team, but I just love when we're able to get on the bus and the plane and the bond together, and it's fun.
Chargers can improve to 4-2 away from SoFi Stadium with a win tomorrow. Chargers Cardinals on CBS 2.
And it's going to be a lot of fun watching, that is for sure. Stafon, the Chargers lost to the Chiefs last week, but the offense looked much better with Keenan Allen back in the mix.
Yeah, it definitely put some more seasoning to have Hibbert, to have another offensive threat. They were in it, with the Chiefs, but Mahomes being who he is, was able to scamper away and come away with a W. But they look a lot better. They look a lot more poised and able to move the chains when they needed to.
And they've had to overcome a lot of injuries, more so than any normal year.
Yeah, I think that it's actually helping out for them. I heard that you said that they have the best, the weakest strength of schedule moving forward the next 5 games, and that'll help them out because they get Mike Williams back, they get a couple more pieces on defense back, and they come forward more full speed towards the end of the season.
And so now there is more confidence on the team because you've given some experience to some younger guys, and now that the veterans are coming back, that should make the team even stronger.
Yes, they got punching them out early with a lot of young guys, and be able to mix those young guys in with a couple of more vets now, and they get more and more experience. That's what they really got at the particular time.
And it's going to be a lot of fun watching them, that is for sure. All right, my friends, what do you say we talk about the Rams season? Could not be going any worse, with their slim playoff hopes essentially ended with last week's loss to the New Orleans Saints. They head to Kansas City to face the Chiefs, and that will be tomorrow. Matthew Stafford will not play this week after entering concussion protocol for the second time this month. Bryce Perkins is expected to start tomorrow, and head coach Sean McVay said the Rams will be cautious with Stafford moving forward.
We're just taking it a day at a time, and really it's a week at a time at this point. You guys know that we're going to be smart about this situation, and it is my tune and tone is not going to change in the least bit. It's about the person. It always will be, whether it was Matthew or any of our players, especially as it relates to some of these different things that we're working through, and that's kind of where we'll leave it right now.
Now, Stafon, the Rams really haven't said if they will put Stafford on the injured reserve list or not, but would it be a surprise to you if he didn't play again this year?
No, there's no surprise there at all. I think that like you said, McVay says he's going to be very smart with this. I think 2 concussions in the same season is definitely a time to shut him down and kind of see what the young guys can do and kind of rebuild from there. You know, we got put in a bad situation, and injuries definitely depleted their O-line, and that makes it more difficult to put Staford in back there with this type of situation.
And the defense really has to step up because of the offense at the quarterback position not having your starter there. So the defense has to come back and play even better.
I think the defense has been doing a great job this year. Like I said, this offense wasn't able to get things going. So the defense got to continue to do the things they've been doing, getting stops as much as they could, try to hold the ball a little bit, and try to just keep living on. Like I said, it's just very, very uncertain, very unlikely about the things that's going on with Stafford. I think he's going to just chill it out.
It's going to be interesting watching, that is for sure, what happens to the Rams the rest of the year, because they are indeed the defending Super Bowl champions. All right, my friends, stay right where you are, because still to come, Randy Wolf got to live out a childhood dream playing for the Dodgers. More from the former starter coming up on this edition. Welcome back, everybody. Growing up in the Valley before attending Pepperdine, Randy Wolf got to live out his dream. That is pitching for the Dodgers in 2007 and 2009. And he wasn't the only member of his family to make the big leagues. His brother Jim is still an umpire. Randy sat down with our Joe Pena-Lopez for this week's edition of the Boys in Blue.
Boys in Blue, sponsored by Capozio Buick GMC.
As a kid, you played baseball in West Hills, and then have your career take you for a couple of different stints with the Dodgers. When you look back at that, what are your emotions?
There's a lot of really good memories. I chose the Dodgers twice when I was a free agent, and just a lot of it had just emotional ties to wanting to play at home, wanting to play for the Dodgers, and also feeling that they're going to be always really good. So those are 2 really big factors that came into play when I was a free agent and choosing the Dodgers. I think my time with the Dodgers was probably briefer than I wanted it to be, but the experiences I had in those 2 years were really special.
2009, 11-7, 3.23 ERA, one of your best seasons. What do you remember about your success that year?
I just felt that I was consistent that year. I think if I had a bad game, I was able to recover the next game. I think in my career, I had a tendency to be kind of a streaky pitcher, would have a hot streak for a while, and then I would have a bad start, and that might turn into 2 or 3, where in 2009, I felt like if I had a bad game, I was able to bounce back the next day and be able to pitch a good game. And I just think my mindset of just keeping the team in the game every day, go as far as I could in each game, and also I was surrounded by a lot of really good teammates, good bullpen, good starting staff. It was just really a lot of fun, the way we kind of playfully competed with each other, whether it was on the mound or how we hit. It was just a lot of fun.
When you look back, who was your favorite Dodger teammate and why?
Well, that's tough because there was a lot of really good teammates. Obviously, it was fun for me to get close with Clayton. I think it was his second full year in the big leagues. And just, when you see somebody who's is going to be special, and it's for a multiple amount of reasons, whether it's, his obvious physical ability, but for me, it was more his mental ability to never really feel like he's accomplishing what he wants to accomplish, so he's always striving to get better. And what I saw him do in between starts, just his work ethic and his routine at such a young age was really remarkable to watch. But there was guys on the team like Brad Ausmus and Mark Loretta and Casey Blake and Russell Martin. I mean, Andre Ethier, all those guys were just really fun to play with. It was a really good, tight-knit group of guys, and we had a lot of fun that year.
And pretty special for you to see your brother in Major League Baseball as well as an umpire, to just think about that. 2 kids from the same family in different aspects of the game.
Not a lot of people know that his first big league game was in San Francisco, and it was the Giants against the Phillies, and I happened to be a rookie in the dugout watching his first Major League game at third base. So for that, not only for us to both be in the big leagues, which he's going to have many more years than I have in the big leagues because he gets to do it until his bones don't work anymore. But you know, just to see my brother in his first big league game and then see a long career being one of the most respected, best umpires out there, you know, I'm always really proud of him because he takes a lot of pride in it. And the one thing the only piece of advice as a player that I told my brother was just always be able to have the players talk to you. If they have a problem with the call, don't get defensive, just say, all right, I'll take a look at it. And that's the one thing when I talk to players that have my brother, that's one comment they always make is that he's very receptive. He's not defensive. He knows he's got a job to do, and they know he's doing the best he can. And as a player, that's really all you could ask from any umpire.
When you look at the teams that you've played for and the Dodgers, what stands out about the Dodgers organization to you?
To me, it was just the way we were treated in the staff. But like a lot of fans don't understand the everyday things that happen with players when it comes to like clubhouse staff, the traveling secretary, the trainers. All the guys that you really interact with the most, those are really the things that keep things together. And to me, those were always great group of people, treated everybody, you know, with all the respect that you could ask for. And I always just felt very comfortable and just always happy to be there.
Oh, yeah, from top to bottom, the Dodgers first-class organization. All right, everybody, stay right where you are. Studs and Duds is coming up, including a mascot fight. Get this, during the battle for Arizona. That and more when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. A huge day tomorrow as the Chargers head to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Right here on CBS 2 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we will have full post-game analysis as Hall of Famer Dan Fouts will join me on the set with Sue Cravens from the road. Okay, let's finish this thing with some fun, right? Time for now, Studs and Duds. Here we go. Now we know that Army isn't known to throw the ball that much, so they don't have a lot of highlight-worthy catches. But I want you to look at this one-handed snag by receiver Isaiah Alston. What a play by him.
He said, if I'm going to get one, I'm going to make it count. So that one-handed was definitely one for the books right there. That was a beautiful hand-eye coordination catch right there, man. That's really good, actually.
And all of his teammates are in awe of that, that's for sure, right?
As I said, you get one, you got to make it count. So.
Okay, now, New Hampshire taking on Fordham in the first round of the FCS playoffs. Max Bormer is going to take this one 85 yards for the touchdown. And apparently, he didn't want to wait to celebrate, my friends, because he's giving his teammate a high five at the 20-yard line.
Oh, yeah, that's one of them ones he was confident enough to get inside the end zone right there, man. Ain't nothing like celebrating with your partner, celebrating with your friend, just to get that W off the bat. Look at him, man. That's 80 yards from the 85 yards from where he's at. And from the 20-yard line, he respected this man for running down the sideline with him to give him a little love.
That is absolutely incredible. And how about this yesterday during the Arizona State game? The mascots, Sparky from ASU and Wilbur from University of Arizona, got into a fight on the sidelines. All this right before Arizona State scores a touchdown to take the lead. You ever seen anything like that before?
No, I have not. But I guess Wilbur said we might have lost the Wilbur. We won the whole thing. So that was, man, I've never seen that before. They really getting down right there. Those real mascot wars, really.
And you know, people are smiling and they're trying to separate them, but they know those two meant business.
They really meant business right there, especially the guy from the Arizona State mascot, man. He wasn't having it at all.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this edition of Sports Central Saturday. I'm Jim Hill saying thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time right here on CBS 2. So long, everybody.